So what we're going to do is we're going to first use the first three chords I showed you in the first lesson, which is your G, C and your D major. Yeah? And then we're going to incorporate within that the E minor and the A minor. So we're going to play the first three chords, G, C and D, twice, the E minor and the A minor once, and then back to the G, C and D. Okay? So I'm just going to kind of show you briefly how we can do this. So you got and again, now we're going to go to the E minor, now to the A minor, and then back to your G. Okay, so that kind of gives you a basic idea of how you can actually use chords in a way that becomes very musical. There's a timing structure that I'm using to it. I'm kind of basing a rhythm in my head that kind of gives me that motion of hearing these chords used in a way that could be done with a melody on top of it. A song could be sung on top of that, and all the rest of it that kind of works with these 5 chords having a relationship with each other. And that's the whole basis of developing your guitar technique and your chords, to feel comfortable to be able to play something like that and just jam it out and have a bit of have some fun with it. Yeah, so let's do that again, but I'm going to do it a little bit slower and show you also ways in which you can use dynamics, which the dynamics is about being able to play quieter and louder. And this is something that I feel it's very important to learn that at an early stage of, you know, picking up the guitar and actually starting, you know, from the beginning really. I think it's a really good way of being able to understand how you can develop your technique by having a timing structure that works in your head before you actually work with any other musicians or a drummer or someone who's playing something that's percussive, that you would actually base your chords around in a timing form. So let's do this again, but we're going to use a little bit more dynamics with it, and I just want you to take a little note of how I'm actually doing that, and we can kind of like tap into that a little bit more later on down the line. Okay. And then back to the G again. Now to the E minor and the A minor. Back to the G. And then finish off with the G. There you go. So that kind of gives you an idea of what I was actually trying to do with them chords to make them a little bit more exciting, you know, because sometimes you kind of learn a few chords and you think, yeah, that sounds all right, but it's a bit boring if you haven't got anything to work with that to give it, you know, a real kind of vibe that makes you feel, yeah, I want to really get into these chords. Now, if you took note, what I did when I actually went on to the E minor and the A minor was I actually played those 2 chords softer. And that basically works from this, your right hand, your strumming hand, the amount of weight you actually put on the strings when you're actually playing, like for example, the E minor chord. I'm playing that soft. Now I'm going to increase the dynamics. And you can see. And then bring it back down again. And all I'm doing there is actually just slowly moving my hand slightly away from the strings to make it quieter. Yeah? So that's what it's about. It's about being able to use the dynamics on this hand When you're putting more pressure on the strings and you're closer to the strings, it becomes louder. When you start to pull away slightly from the string, your dynamics gets quieter. And this is a really good technique to develop quite early on. That's the reason why I'm really wanting to talk about it on this, your second lesson, for you to actually take note of that and to really start to practice it when you're playing your chords, you know? And just bring it really down. You know what I mean? So that's a really good technique to develop quite early on, and I hope that, you know, you'll give that a try and see how you get on with it. But I think you'll have plenty of fun with it. And to note, before we actually complete this lesson today, I think what the main key points that I'm wanting you to remember is, with the 5 chords we've looked at today, is being able to learn your positioning of your fingering on each chord, so it becomes very, very comfortable. And it's like you could count yourself in. You could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Change. 2, 3, change. 2, 3, 4. Back to your G. And then you finish 3, 4, buff. So that's what it's about. It's about being able to get comfortable with moving the chords around in time, so that when you actually know that you're going to the next chord from your G to your C, you've already thought of the chord prior to you doing the physical change on the chord. And I can guarantee you that will help you immensely to get used to doing chord changes. I really do hope that you will give this a shot, and you know, obviously if there's any problems, please email me about it, because I know what it's like when you first start playing chords. It always feels a little bit daunting moving from one chord to the other. But the more you do it, and if you do it slowly, that is the key. Learn to do it slow, because if you learn to do it slow, you'll learn to do it accurately, so that you don't program your brain to learn mistakes because you've done it too fast. Yeah? So that's a very, very important factor. If you develop a way of being able to play the chords slowly but in time, then when it comes to the process of actually speeding up those chord changes, you will find you'll be able to do it a lot more accurately, and you'll be on it. You know what I'm saying? You'll be on it. So do enjoy, and thank you very much for listening today, and hopefully I shall be with you very soon. All the best. Bye.